चलिए शुरू करते हैं क्लास केमिकल इक्विलिब्रियम, राइट? So all of you listen carefully. Today's topic is chemical equilibrium. Right. All of you listen carefully. Equilibrium. What is it basically? Equilibrium means what? See, if some observable properties of system remains constant, then we can call it as equilibrium. The system acquires equilibrium or attains equilibrium. Okay. See, remember, if some observable properties of system remains constant, if some observable properties of system remains constant, then it is said to be have an equilibrium. So the main meaning of equilibrium is like this. If some observable properties of system remains constant, then it is said to be an equilibrium. The system acquired an equilibrium. Is that clear, all of you? Now, if you go through this equilibrium, it is of two types. Okay. So write like this: equilibrium. If you see equilibrium, which is classified into two types. इसमें first physical equilibrium, and the second and important thing is chemical equilibrium. Physical equilibrium and chemical equilibrium. Again, chemical equilibrium is of two types: molecular equilibrium and ionic equilibrium. Okay, so chemical equilibrium further classified into molecular equilibrium and ionic equilibrium. So this is the basic classification of equilibrium. Equilibrium is of two types: physical and chemical. Again, chemical equilibrium is of further classified into two types: molecular equilibrium and ionic equilibrium. So we have to study all these types of equilibria. Okay, so let me start with the physical equilibrium. Right. Okay, all of you, let me go through the first and important thing: physical equilibrium. So, what is physical equilibrium? The equilibrium exists between two physical states of a given system or given substance. Okay. See, the equilibrium exists between two physical states or two phases. We can call physical states, or we can call it as the phases of a substance, is called as a physical equilibrium. Understand? The equilibrium exists between two physical states or two phases of a substance is called physical equilibrium. For example, if you take a solid liquid equilibrium, it can be represented like this: solid liquid. This is the first example. Liquid and gas, even solid and gas equilibrium. So these are the three important physical equilibria: solid liquid equilibrium, liquid gas equilibrium, and a solid gas equilibrium. Clear? Understand, all of you? Right. Now, let me go through some details about these three types of equilibria. Okay, first solid liquid type equilibrium. Solid and liquid type equilibrium. See, first one thing you should understand. ऐसा लिखने से पता चल जाएगा बाबू. No need to write specially equilibrium. Exclusively the arrows who represented this process. First half forward दिख रहा है, second half backward दिख रहा है. मतलब the process goes in two different directions at same time. Are you getting it? Both forward and backward change happens simultaneously. Are you getting it? That indicates soon it acquire equilibrium. So particularly no need to write equilibrium like that. You just keep this arrow, you can understand both forward and backward changes happen simultaneously. Have understand? Is that clear? Okay. If you see this solid liquid equilibrium, the best example for this is ice that is always in solid state is exist in water, liquid, or otherwise you can write this like this also. H2O solid gives rise to H2O liquid. Okay. At 0 degrees centigrade and 1 atmosphere pressure, at 0 degrees centigrade and 1 atmosphere pressure, ice is in equilibrium with water. Ice is in equilibrium with water. Okay. Where rate of melting of ice, is equal to rate of formation of ice. See, forward and backward changes happens at equal rates. Then only we call it as equilibrium. Forward and backward changes happens at equal rate. Okay, then it is called equilibrium. So in this particular equilibrium, rate of melting of ice is equal to rate of formation of ice. Okay, have understand? So this is the conditions that required for this ice water equilibrium. 0 degrees centigrade and 1 atmosphere pressure, where rate of melting of ice is equal to a rate of formation of ice. A rate of formation of ice. Okay. Now, I'll go through two important points here. Listen carefully, all of you. By keeping temperature constant, as the pressure increases, what happens? By keeping temperature constant as the pressure increases. See, temperature of the system remains constant. We are increasing pressure. So क्या होगा? Pressure increase करने से क्या होगा? System will proceed towards the side where volume is less. By applying pressure, what happens? System move towards the side where volume is less. क्यों? By applying pressure, volume should decrease. By applying pressure, volume should decrease. So by keeping temperature, if you apply pressure, then system move towards where pressure is less. Where volume is less. By increasing pressure, system move towards the side where volume is. Ice and water, which has less volume? Ice water mein, water has less volume. Right? Ice has more volume. Right? Have understand or not? Ice has less volume.
Sir, more volume.
Which has more volume? Ice
Sir,
has
ice.
more volume than. Yes, ice has more volume than water. So by keeping temperature constant as the pressure increases, equilibrium shifted towards the side where volume is less. Okay. Therefore, rate of melting of ice increases. Understand this? Rate of melting of ice increases or rate of formation of water increases. Rate of formation of water increases. Understand all of you? So by keeping temperature constant as the pressure increases, then rate of melting of ice increases or rate of formation of water increases? Dono same. Because at high pressure, equilibrium shifted towards the side where volume is less. Pressure increase करने से volume decrease होना चाहिए. This is the natural fact. Is that clear? So, same another point I want to give. See, I think you can understand the vice versa point. Here I told by increasing pressure. If you decrease pressure, then what happens? By keeping temperature constant, pressure is decreased. Then what happens?
Volume.
Yes, volume increases. So rate of formation of ice increases. Okay. Rate of formation of ice increases. The reverse state. Okay. Now, let me go through another point, please. By keeping pressure constant, as the temperature increases, right? What happens? By keeping pressure constant, temperature increases. What happens? Ice melts into water. अरे temperature increase करने से ice melt हो जाएगा. Therefore, what happens there? Rate of formation of water. Rate of formation of water increases. Okay. As the temperature decreases, reverse. Rate of formation of ice increases. See, nothing is confusion here. You just focus your mind here, right? If you didn't focus, you will get confused. See what I am telling, right? Listen that, and don't think ये होगा हो होगा. वैसा confusion हो जाता है. When teacher is explaining, you should focus. After that, everything will be, you can get it. Okay. So, as the temperature increases, rate of formation of water increases. As the temperature decreases, then what happens? Rate of formation of ice. Rate of formation of ice increases. Right. So this is the first equilibrium. Right. So this is the first equilibrium. Right. Have written this, all of you? Okay. Now coming to the second type. Right. Second one is liquid gas equilibrium. Liquid gas equilibrium. So best example for this is H2O liquid gives rise to H2O gas. So the next one is liquid gas equilibrium. Water in liquid state and water is gaseous state. Okay. See, at 100 degrees centigrade and 1 atmosphere pressure, at 100 degrees centigrade and 1 atmosphere pressure, the above process is at equilibrium. Understand? At 100 degrees centigrade and 1 atmosphere pressure, the above process is at equilibrium. Where rate of evaporation of water is equal to rate of condensation of water vapor. Rate of condensation of water vapor. Right. See, at 100 degrees centigrade and 1 atmosphere pressure, the above process is at equilibrium. At equilibrium, what happens? Rate of evaporation of water is equal to rate of condensation of water vapor. Okay. Again, let me go through the same kind of points what we described earlier, right? Okay. So first, by keeping pressure constant, as the temperature increases, what happens? More water gets vaporized, right? So by keeping pressure constant, as temperature increases, rate of formation of vapor increases. rate of formation of vapor increases. Okay. In the same way, as the temperature decreases, rate of condensation of vapor increases. Rate of condensation of vapor increases. Is that clear? So this is just by keeping pressure constant and we are changing the valve when you are changing the temperature. Okay. Next point, please. In the same equilibrium, let me go through the next point. Second one, by keeping temperature constant. By keeping temperature constant. As the pressure increases, what happens? Rate of condensation of vapor increases. Matlab rate of formation of vapor increases. See, simple logic. Pressure volume inversely proportional. More is the pressure, less will be the volume. Gas has more volume when compared to liquid. So gas is compressed into liquid because liquid has less volume. So as the pressure increases, rate of condensation of vapor increases. Understand? As the pressure decreases, rate of evaporation of water increases. Okay, so these are some important aspects of this equilibrium. So please note it down. Once you completed, please tell. Through the third type equilibrium, that is solid gives rise to gas. Solid is an equilibrium with the gas. Okay. Now listen carefully. For this kind, the best example, CO2 solid gives rise to CO2 gas. CO2 solid gives rise to CO2 gas. We call it as sublimation. If solid directly vaporizes into gas, then it is called as sublimation. Okay. See, at 1 atmosphere pressure and at certain temperature, see, this is not a natural change. So that's why no need to remember the temperature. You go through like this. Okay. At 1 atmosphere pressure and at certain temperature, the above system is an equilibrium. The above system is an equilibrium. Okay. Where, as usual, a rate of evaporation of CO2 is equal to a rate of condensation of CO2. Rate of evaporation of CO2 is equal to rate of condensation of CO2. Okay, at 1 atmosphere pressure and certain temperature, the above system is an equilibrium where rate of evaporation of carbon dioxide is equal to rate of condensation of carbon dioxide. Now, as usual, you can go through these points by keeping temperature constant. By keeping temperature constant, as pressure applied, as pressure increases, what happens? Rate of condensation of carbon dioxide increases. Rate of condensation of CO2 increases. Okay. Next, one more important point. Just to keep now pressure constant. See, if you write one point, you can automatically understand the second. Okay. So that's why go through next one. By keeping temperature, by keeping pressure constant. By keeping pressure constant. Okay. As the temperature increases, what happens? A rate of evaporation of carbon dioxide increases. Rate of evaporation of carbon dioxide increases. So that's it. It's the third type equilibrium. Okay. So by changing some property, actually at equilibrium, the observable properties remains constant. By changing the property, either forward change happens more extent, nahi hai to backward change happens in more extent by altering the conditions. If you keep them as constant, both forward and backward reactions takes place in same extent. Understand or not? So by keeping temperature and pressure, जो required है वो मतलब यहाँ पे देखो at 1 atmosphere pressure and certain temperature, what we told, rate of evaporation of CO2 मतलब forward change is equal to rate of condensation of CO2, that is the backward change. So at particular conditions, those two are equal in rate, in their rate. But just by altering the conditions, either you can favorable the forward reaction or you can favorable the backward reaction. Is that it? All of you understand? Right. Go through the second and next physical equilibrium में another type भी है, वो भी पढ़ा रहे, देख लीजिए. Dissolution of solid or gas in a liquid. All of you please listen carefully. Dissolution of a solid or gas in a liquid. Dissolution means just dissolving a solid or a gas in a liquid. Okay. So first, again, solute, that is a solid, and a solvent, that is a liquid. So I'm taking the solute-solvent equilibrium. Solute-solvent equilibrium. Solute is solid, solvent is a liquid, right? Dissolution of a solid in a liquid. Dissolution of a solid in a liquid. Or you can go through an example also. Sugar in solid state gives rise to sugar in aqueous state. What is the formula of sugar? Sucrose, C12H22 and O11. Okay. Now, love you, please listen. See, at particular temperature and pressure, rate of dissolution of sugar is equal to rate of precipitation of sugar. Rate of dissolution of sugar is equal to rate of precipitation of sugar. See, you can conduct this experiment in your home also. You just take a glass, add 1 teaspoon sugar and mix it thoroughly. Pura sugar dissolve ho jata hai. Add another spoon of sugar. It may also dissolve. Add another spoon. Now what happens? Some sugar crystals left behind. जितना भी कोशिश कीजिएगा at constant temperature, जितना भी mix कीजिएगा वो पूरा dissolve नहीं होता है. So now that is the equilibrium condition. Okay. So where rate of dissolution of sugar is equal to rate of precipitation of sugar. Is that clear? See, solubility point से ज्यादा dissolve होने से ऐसा equilibrium आपको मिल जाता है. Are you getting it? Sir, solubility, what is it, sir? If you have a doubt there, suniye. If you go through solubility, what is solubility? The amount of solute which is completely dissolved. The amount of solute which is completely dissolved in given 100 ml solvent at given temperature is called as a solubility. Right. So the amount of solute which is completely dissolved in given 100 ml of solvent at given temperature is called solubility. Okay. Understand? Now, here we go through this equilibrium again. Rate of dissolution of sugar is equal to rate of precipitation of sugar. Now, see, the first and important point, all of you please remember, there is no effect of pressure. There is no effect of pressure on this equilibrium. Okay, because solid liquid equilibrium में pressure effect तो कुछ नहीं है. Solid का property is never influenced with pressure. Okay, so what you written there? There is no effect of pressure on this equilibrium. Either pressure increase कीजिए, decrease कीजिए, कुछ फर्क नहीं है. So there is no effect of pressure on this equilibrium. Okay, next. By the increase in temperature, by the increase in temperature, what happens? By the increase in temperature, what you can say? A rate of dissolution of sugar, rate of dissolution of sugar increases. See, but in all solids it may not. But all solids it may not. यहाँ मैं sugar लिखा हूँ ना, इसीलिए as temperature increases, what I written? Rate of dissolution of sugar increases. Okay. In some other solids, it may decreases also. In some other solids, it may decreases also. It depends on del H of the solution. It depends on what? Del H of the solution. Okay, I'll go through this point in detail. I'll ask you to listen carefully. See, the relation between solubility of a solid, the relation between solubility of a solid and temperature is given by Van Hoff's equation. Van Hoff's equation. Understand, the relation between solubility of a solid and temperature is given by Van Hoff's equation. Okay, so log S2 by S1, this is solubility. You can take in grams per liter or you can take in moles per liter, right? So log S2 by S1 is equal to del H solution by 2.303 into R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2, where S1 is the solubility at T1, S2 is the solubility at T2, at temperature T1, at temperature T2. S1 is the solubility at temperature T1, S2 is the solubility at a temperature T2. Now, the solubility of a solid always depends on what? Del H of the solution. Okay. Listen, if del H is equal to negative, that means exothermic reaction. If del H is negative, negative means exothermic reaction. As temperature increases, as T2 greater than T1, what happens? S2 less than S1. Understand? If the dissolution is, if del H is negative, then as T2 greater than T1, S2 less than S1. So if dissolution is exothermic, as temperature increases, solubility decreases. Understand? If dissolution is exothermic, as the temperature increases, solubility decreases. Similarly, if del H is positive, what I mean to say, endothermic reaction, right? If del H is positive means endothermic reaction. So what happens? As T2 greater than T1, S2 greater than S1. So these two conditions you have to remember always. So the dissolution of a solid in a liquid depends on this temperature, obviously, and del H of the solution. If del H is positive, as the temperature increases, solubility increases. If del H is negative, As temperature decreases, solubility decreases. Understand? Right. Okay. Now, solid in liquid equilibrium you studied. Now let me go through gas in liquid. Okay. See. Second, solute in gaseous state and a solvent in liquid state. So gas in a solvent equilibrium. The best example, soda. CO2 gas gives rise to CO2 aqueous. Of course, CO2 aqueous means carbonic acid you have to take. H2CO3, carbonic acid. But you can write like this also. That's not a problem at all. CO2 aqueous means that is carbonic acid. Understand? So carbon dioxide gas and CO2 aqueous. Okay. You can go through like this. H2CO3 aqueous. Right. So let me go through in detail. As usual, at a particular temperature and pressure, the above process is in equilibrium. The above process is in equilibrium. At a particular temperature and pressure, the above process is in equilibrium. Okay. Now let me go through the effect of change in pressure and the temperature. That points are very important here. Okay. Now, by keeping temperature constant, as the pressure increases, what happens? Solubility of gas in a liquid increases. Understand? By keeping temperature constant, as the pressure increases, the solubility of a gas in a liquid increases. Okay. As partial pressure on gas increases, its solubility increases. Is it clear? And one more important point. Remember carefully the relation between pressure of gas and solubility. The relation between pressure of the gas and solubility can be explained on the basis of Henry's law. Can be explained on the basis of Henry's law. Right? On the basis of Henry's law. See, according to Henry's law, the mass of solute which is dissolved is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas. Otherwise, you can go through like this also. Partial pressure is proportional to mole fraction of solute. Then partial pressure of the gas is equal to Kh into mole fraction of solute. So this is Henry's law. It will be detailed described in solutions, diluted solutions topic in your +2 syllabus, right? So here I just mentioned, because we are studying the effect of pressure on solubility, that's why I just given one point here. So as pressure increases, solubility of a gas in a given liquid increases. So the relation between pressure of the gas and solubility can be explained on the basis of Henry's law. According to Henry's law, pressure of the gas is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. So pressure of the gas is equal to Kh into mole fraction of the solute. Oh, sorry, solute, not solvent, solute. Okay. So this is it. It is the effect of pressure. Now, let me go through effect of temperature. Listen carefully. Effect of temperature. Okay. See, by keeping pressure constant, as the temperature increases, as the temperature increases, a rate of dissolution, or better to say, a rate of solubility of a gas in a liquid decreases. Because as the temperature increases, kinetic energy increases. Gas उड़ जाएगा. समझ रहे हैं? As the temperature increases, kinetic energy of gas molecules increases. That's why gas leaves the liquid. So that's why by keeping pressure constant, as temperature increases, rate of solubility of a gas in a liquid decreases. Okay, so that's it. It's about the physical equilibrium. So until now, what we studied is about the physical equilibrium. Okay, here let me go through some important points from this entire physical equilibrium. Keep a note there. Listen. If you go for solid liquid equilibrium, right, at 1 atmosphere pressure, freezing point, if it is ice, we call it as freezing point. If it is normal solid, we call it as melting point. Right? Solid liquid equilibrium में at 1 atmosphere pressure, if it is ice and water, then we can say freezing point. If it is solid and liquid, we can say melting point. Okay, it remains constant. Melting point or freezing point remains constant. Right. Solid liquid equilibrium at 1 atmosphere pressure, freezing point or melting point remains constant. This is the first point. Go through the second point. What I told there. Gas and liquid equilibrium. At a given temperature, vapor pressure of water, remains constant. Remember pH2O, vapor pressure of water, vapor remains constant. Is it clear? Okay. Next. In the third case, solid and gas. Okay, solid and gas. If you see this equilibrium, at a constant pressure, what remains constant? Sublimation point or sublimation temperature remains constant. Sublimation point or sublimation temperature remains constant. Clear? So these are some aspects you have to remember. Right? So physical equilibrium is completed. Now let me go through chemical equilibrium. Okay, all of you go through chemical equilibrium. Okay, listen carefully. What is chemical equilibrium? See, equilibrium means some observable properties of system remains constant. If you see it in physical state change, then we are calling it as physical equilibrium. It happens in a chemical reaction, we call it as chemical equilibrium. Okay, so before going to study this chemical equilibrium, first you have to understand about reversible and irreversible reaction. Okay, before going to study this, first you should go through what reversible and irreversible chemical reaction. Okay, listen all of you. You go through chemical reactions. Chemical reactions are of two types. See, chemical reactions are of two types. In which first one, a reversible reaction. Reversible reaction. Okay. Now, what are reversible reactions? See, under given experimental conditions, if rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction, so that is equilibrium, right? Sorry. Under given experimental conditions, if forward and backward reaction takes place simultaneously, then it is called reversible reaction. Understand? So write down there. Under given experimental conditions, both forward and backward reactions, takes place simultaneously. Under given experimental conditions, both forward and backward reactions take place simultaneously. It is called as a reversible reaction. It is called as reversible reaction. Example: CaCO3 solid gives rise to PaO solid plus CO2 gas. But it is reversible in closed vessel, not open vessel. It is in closed vessel. All gaseous reactions will become reversible in closed vessel. Understand? Okay. CaCO3 solid gives rise to CaO solid plus CO2 gas. Next, decomposition of phosphorus pentachloride. PCl5 gas gives rise to PCl3 plus Cl2 gas. Right. 2HI gas gives rise to H2 gas plus I2 gas. So like that you can write so many. N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3 gas. Okay, so these are all best examples for a reversible reaction. Under given experimental conditions, both forward and backward reactions take place simultaneously. Then it is called as a reversible reaction. And these are some examples. Now coming to irreversible reactions. Irreversible reaction. Okay. As usual, we have to go through the definition and examples, right? Now listen, irreversible reaction. How we can describe irreversible reaction? Under given experimental conditions, if the reaction proceeds only in one direction. Under given experimental conditions, if the reaction proceeds only in one direction, it is called as a irreversible reaction. It is called as irreversible reaction. Okay. For example, decomposition of potassium chlorate. This is the best process. Decomposition of potassium chlorate. So 2KClO3 potassium chlorate on decomposition gives rise to potassium chloride plus oxygen. So it's not reversible. It is an irreversible reaction. Okay. Just like a combustion reaction is also irreversible. Okay. Another example, let me go through some combustion. I'll take combustion of methane. So CH4 gas plus 2O2 gas gives rise to CO2 plus 2H2. Right. Some combustion reactions are also irreversible because they travel in only forward and there is no backward reaction. Another example, neutralization also. Neutralization of strong acid and strong base. See, I'm taking arsenous neutralization, not going through Bronsted theory. As per Lorry-Bronsted theory, neutralization reversible. I'm going through neutralization of strong acid, strong base. That too according to Arrhenius theory. Okay. So HCl aqueous plus NaOH aqueous gives rise to NaCl aqueous plus H2O. Right. So these are some irreversible reactions. Clear? So now let me go through the main chemical equilibrium part. Okay. Now, all of you, let me go through this chemical equilibrium. Okay. Now, one thing you have to understand. It is observed only in reversible reactions, not in irreversible reactions. So chemical equilibrium is observed only in reversible reactions. It is never observed in irreversible processes. So reversible में आपको chemical equilibrium दिखेगा. ठीक? Now listen. What is this chemical equilibrium? The stage or the state. The stage of the state where rate of forward reaction, the rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. The stage or the state where rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. In a reversible chemical reaction. In a reversible chemical reaction is called as a chemical equilibrium. Understand the definition? The stage or the state where rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction in a reversible chemical reaction is called as what? Chemical equilibrium. Okay. Now, all of you go through characteristics. Characteristics of a chemical equilibrium. What are the important characteristics of a chemical equilibrium? Okay. So, listen. What are the important characteristics? The first and important one. It is observed in reversible chemical reaction. It is observed in reversible chemical reaction. Second point. It is observed in closed vessel in case of gaseous reactant. Right. It is observed in closed vessel in case of gaseous reactant. Because if it is open vessel, gas will evaporate or gas will escape into the atmosphere. That's why in case of gaseous reactants or gaseous products also, right? Gaseous in case of gaseous reactants and gaseous products. It happens only in a closed vessel. Okay. Next, third point. At equilibrium, a rate of forward reaction is equal to, at equilibrium, rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. So this is the third and it is the main point actually, right? So the third characteristic is that equilibrium, rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. Okay. Fourth point. See, chemical equilibrium is a dynamic process. Chemical equilibrium is a dynamic process. See, dynamic process in the sense, after attaining equilibrium also, forward backward reactions never going to stop. They will continue. It never going to stop. Reversible chemical reaction never going to stop. Both forward and backward reactions continue to take place. That's why dynamic, matlab slow. It happens continuously. That's why chemical equilibrium is a dynamic equilibrium. Right. So chemical equilibrium is a dynamic process or dynamic equilibrium. Dynamic process or dynamic equilibrium. Since after attaining equilibrium, also both forward and backward reactions takes place simultaneously. Both forward and backward reactions continue to take place. Right. After attaining equilibrium, also both forward and backward reactions continue to take place. That's why chemical clear. Next. Before attaining equilibrium, there will be some change in macroscopic properties. There will be some change in macroscopic properties like color, density, pressure, temperature, and concentration, etc. Okay. Before attaining equilibrium, there will be some change in macroscopic properties like color, density, pressure, temperature, concentration, etc. But once equilibrium was established, no further change in macroscopic properties. No change in macroscopic properties. It remains constant. All the macroscopic properties attain constant values. So that's what I am telling from beginning onwards. Some observable properties remain constant. Then we can say the system is at equilibrium. Is that clear? So before attaining equilibrium, there will be some change in the macroscopic properties. It may be color, pressure, temperature, concentration, density, etc. But once equilibrium was attained, there is no change in the macroscopic properties. There remains what you call remains constant. For example, देख लीजिएगा N2O4 solid is in equilibrium with nitrogen dioxide, NO2 gas. See, N2O4 is white solid, but NO2 is reddish brown gas. Okay, now listen. शुरू में reaction कैसे दिखेगा? White, because of N2O4 is in more. धीरे धीरे क्या दिखेगा? Reddish brown. Okay, अगर ज्यादा reddish brown है तो rate of forward is more. ज्यादा white है तो rate of backward is more. अगर pale brown attain होगा तो equilibrium और आगे change नहीं होगा. मतलब पहले कलरलेस होता है, धीरे धीरे कलर इंटेंसिटी बढ़ जाता है. Once it becomes a pale brown, उसके बाद color remains constant. Are you getting it? So this equilibrium can be observed by constancy in the color. You can easily recognize the constancy in color by this equilibrium, right? Have understand? And one more example of same type is there. 2HI. Right. So 2 is to H2 gas plus I2 gas. Here again the same thing. HI is the colorless gas. and iodine is violet. HI is colorless and iodine is violet. Okay. So here also pale violet color is the constancy in color at equilibrium. Pale violet color. Okay. So this is another important characteristic. Now coming to the next point, please. Sixth point. Okay. See, there is no effect of catalyst. There is no effect of catalyst on equilibrium position. There is no effect of catalyst on equilibrium position. There is no effect of catalyst on equilibrium position. Okay. It helps to attain equilibrium quickly. The catalyst helps the process to attain equilibrium quickly. Understand? There is no effect of catalyst on equilibrium position. It helps the process to attain equilibrium quickly. Okay. So this is about the characteristics of chemical equilibrium. Okay. Okay. Understand? Until then, bye bye.